Because our lives are not just for ourselves. It's for all beings, which includes ourselves, because we are not separate from all beings. Hello everyone, it's Jason, and I'm here answering your questions about Zen, meditation, your practice, life, any kind of question. Today's question is about relationships. How can Buddhist teachings, meditation practice, help with relationships? Let me go ahead and read this question. Hi, Jason. My partner and I recently got married. Are there any Buddhist teachings or meditation practices that can help nurture relationships? This is a question I receive from time to time, and I thought it would be appropriate to talk about today, since yesterday, Kendra and I celebrated our anniversary. One thing that really stood out in our wedding was our marriage vows. Now, these vows are based on the Eightfold Path. And every year, Kendra and I will look over these vows together. Many people who were at the wedding, especially people who didn't practice Buddhism, Zen, or meditation, really felt a strong connection with these marriage vows. So I would like to read these for you. But before I do, there's two things I want to point out. First, these vows are not just for marriages. I would say it could be for any close relationship, especially close friends, partners, family. Another thing to point out is that these vows are not something to believe in. It's not something to create some good feeling. These vows are something we practice. And I remember looking at these vows yesterday with Kendra, and I realized that it's not just a day-to-day practice with these vows. It's a moment-to-moment practice. So keep these in mind as I read these marriage vows. The first vow. We vow in our married life together to continually let go of our preconceived views of each other and see each other clearly. Again, this is not only important in marriages, but any close relationships. I would say many of us hold some preconceived idea about a friend or a loved one or our partner. And that's probably just our human condition. It's just how our mind works. But it's really important to see through them, because if we don't see through these preconceived ideas, then we're only seeing the person through a filter that we created with our own mind. And when we do that, we obviously don't see the truth in the moment. And when we don't see the truth in the moment, we can't respond in a way that's clear and helpful. The second vow is we vow to let go of feelings that arise from selfish desires, attachments, and fears, so that we can open our hearts to one another. If you've been in any kind of human relationship, you've definitely seen these feelings that come from selfish desires. It's about me. In fact, most relationships get into a lot of difficulty when people are holding their own selfish desires. So this is a very important practice in any kind of human relationship. to see through these desires. In fact, where do desires even come from? Can anyone answer that? So in Zen practice, we really investigate that. Where do these desires come from? And if these desires come from a self, what is this self? This is a very important practice. The third vow. We vow to be compassionate with one another and with all beings. This vow is pretty interesting because sometimes compassion can seem like a feeling. But I would say that compassion is an experience where our mind and the moment are not separate. So let's say one day you wake up, you get out of bed and you're feeling amazing. You're feeling very happy. You go out of your house, you're walking down the street, and you see somebody coming down the sidewalk who is very sad. I would say many of the times we try to avoid that person. Oh, I don't want their negative vibes to affect my great mood I'm having. I'm going this way. But Buddhist practice or meditation practice, Zen practice, means that when we're walking down the street and this person who is sad is approaching, then we connect. Our mind becomes the moment, and we can feel or perceive the sadness. So this is what happens naturally when we let go of our preconceived ideas. We're not holding any thoughts or feelings, that we can experience true compassion. The fourth vow. We vow to refrain from speaking harshly or deceptively to each other or about each other to others. If we look at our relationships at work, at home, with our family, friends, and loved ones, we see that sometimes our words causes suffering or problems for ourselves and others. So this vow is being aware of what is coming out of this mouth. Because many of the times we're just running on automatic pilot. It's our habitual thinking coming out into words. So this practice is being aware of what we are saying, because whatever we say has a natural result. So are our words clear? Are they helpful? And we can even take it a little further. Are we even opening our mouths? Because sometimes we don't say anything. So this vow means if we perceive something that needs attention and care, that we open our mouth and say something that can help the situation. The fifth vow. We vow to practice peaceful and ethical occupations and to support each other in our work. There's a Zen teaching about a human being's job. Human beings have two jobs, inside job and an outside job. Inside job means keeping a clear mind from moment to moment. Outside job is helping others. So this means action. And this vow is not narrow. It's not just what we do for work or our occupation. It's how our actions are affecting this world from moment to moment. So the first few vows were pointing to inside job. But if we truly do our inside job, then there's no separation between inside job and outside job. Inside job an outside job is just a clear action in this very moment. The sixth vow. We vow to support one another in creating a compassionate and loving home. There's a practice in Buddhism about loving kindness, how to practice with it. And you can always start where you are. So in this case, in this vow, we're starting at our home. So are we practicing love and compassion? That means, are we demonstrating, showing love and compassion with our friends, with our children, with our spouses, our partners? Because if we can do that, then we can try that practice when we're at work. If we can do that, then we can take that practice into our neighborhood. If we can do that, we can take that practice into our city. If we can do that, we can take that practice into our state or to our country, to this whole world. The seventh vow. We vow to always be mindful of each other and not hold on to our ideas and beliefs so that we can see each other more clearly. This vow is very similar to the first one, except I think it really breaks it down to this very moment. Are we being mindful in this moment? Now, this vow states to always be mindful of each other. I think that's impossible. But when I read this, to me it means in this moment, can we be mindful of who is in front of us? Can we see through our ideas and beliefs so we can see the person more clearly? I think that's a better way of talking about it, because we're not always going to be mindful. The only time we can be mindful is this moment. So wake up and perceive clearly. The eighth and last vow, we vow to support each other while we walk the Bodhisattva path together. This vow could have easily been the very first one, because to me, it's setting up our intention, our direction for our marriage, our partnership, our relationship. Because our lives are not just for ourselves. It's for all beings, which includes ourselves, because we are not separate from all beings. If our practice and lives are just for ourselves, the natural result is dissatisfaction. Or in Buddhism, we can say suffering. But if our practice and lives are for all beings, then our lives become clear and compassionate. Those are my thoughts for the day. Let me know what you think of this video. Was it helpful? You can let me know by liking this video or putting a comment down below. Also, if you have any questions about Zen, meditation, your life, any kind of question, go ahead and put it down in the comments below. You can also email me, jason@jasonquinnzen.com. Okay, everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you very soon.